Welcome to an episode of Extra Credit. If you're here, it's because you want some extra credit and you know that it's not good enough to just have 100% or an A, as Topanga put it, but you need another A. So here's another chance to get an A. I am one of your dads, Tyler.
And I am your other dad, Brett, your pod daddy.
Yes. So on this episode, we're going to do what I'm going to call simple change, big impact. Ooh, I like that. I just came up with that off the fly.
Yeah. We'll have to coin that. We'll hashtag simple change, big impact.
Yeah. I'm sure someone else has already said I'm stealing it, I'm sure. But essentially, we're just going to take a small plot point from Boy Meets World, whether it be, a simple one-off little joke, little thing, or little moment, and let's just see if we can make it a little bit better. Not saying that we're writers, but just, hey, this is a fun exercise to see what could this world look like? What a different universe would this be? Different world? If one little thing was different. As simple as what if Lily was the original Morgan? How much Morgan would we have actually gotten? Who's to say? But we're not here to talk about that. I'm going to give us the first one, and in light of us being, we've gone through the first season, and now we're into second season. I have a simple change for us, Brett.
All right, hit me with it.
All right, so in episode, what was that? 10, I want to say. Maybe it was 10. I can't fully remember off the top of my head. But
10
the
was
episode
Sister
in
Teresa.
What?
Sister Teresa was episode 10.
No, sorry. I was thinking about the first season.
Sorry. First season. Okay. First season, episode 10 would have been Santa's Little Helper.
All right. It's not that episode. Well, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
So the episode I'm thinking about is Teacher's Bet. Oh, it's episode 8. I'm sorry. So
Okay.
episode 8, Teacher's Bet. Corey takes on the role as teacher. He is Mr. Hey Dude. And Feeney decides to then be in a ball cap and be in a jersey and hang out. And Corey learns about prejudice and about Anne Frank and her being persecuted. And we talked about how that's a great book. And
Hey, dude. Sorry I'm late. I was chilling with my homies.
Thank you. And so we have this great moment of Corey helping Sean to realize about prejudice and maybe taking this a little bit more serious. Now, the change I want to make, because I think all the stuff that happens with Corey is perfect. Mm-hmm. And the change we're going to make is Linda, who we meet this episode.
Mm-hmm.
The change is that she's going to stick around for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Because in this episode, we don't see them break up. But in the next, I don't know, Eric's relationship isn't mentioned at all.
Yes.
We have this weirdness in the first season because and thinking back, you think that Eric goes on like a bunch of dates with a bunch of girls, but really it's not that many. It's Heather for a while. And then they break up, but then he also gets back with her for one episode. It's a thing. But we meet Linda, episode 8, and Morgan makes a quite astonishing observation about Linda.
Mm-hmm. Yes, she does. And actually...
Wrong again.
Oh.
That's not the one. Oh, yes.
I like her.
Yes. I do too, Morgan.
Yes. And where is it? There it is.
I like to see more of her and less of him.
So my pitch, my small change but big impact would be that Linda sticks around for a while. Now, this helps for two reasons. A, there's 2 episodes in the first season that Eric humiliates himself and breaks promises to his parents and, really shows his ignorance just to impress these girls. And I think if Eric actually dates and is with Linda for a while, I think he can actually have more value in himself because Linda is quite incredible. And I don't know why they didn't keep her around other than the fact of TV show has the TV show and Eric is not supposed to have a long-term girlfriend. But I really liked Linda. She was incredible.
Mm-hmm.
And also seeing Eric responding after the incident at the mall, you would think that a moment like that for a teenager would be enough to keep them around for a while. Now, it doesn't mean that the two of them didn't date for a few months and then decided to break it up. But I'd argue that if we're being honest, Eric should have been dating her at least into the summer. But I go even as far as to say that I think that if Eric actually would have dated her, at least for a while, could have gone into even a year, some of the horrible girls that he tries to impress this next year, this season we're currently on, wouldn't have happened. And I think it would have been better for him, especially the high-end girl who, said that he was immature. The girl that, decided that she needed a tour of Eric's house and then didn't talk to him after that. There's a lot of horrible people that he tries to impress and be with. And if we just allow Eric to be a regular teenage boy who really likes a girl, and I think Eric would be a lot better off and not be so emotionally damaged.
Mm-hmm.
Because at no point does the showrunners give Eric an actual relationship. The closest thing is to his roommate Rachel, and it shouldn't have been before that he had an actual serious relationship.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. Yeah. Yeah, because there's a fair amount of girls that if he had been, for instance, if he had been with Linda from, episode 8, we'll say they date for even 6 months. Even at 6 months, that even impacts all the way up through It's a Wonderful Night, where he and Jason aren't trying to impress those two girls that cause him to drive Alan's car without license. Mm-hmm. And I'm flipping through my notes here to see some of my other in Model Family where he wants to be a supermodel. He might not have been seeking that career as a supermodel in the mall. He might not have been discovered because he might not have been at the mall by himself with Jason. He might have been doing something with Linda and wouldn't have gone by Alexis. There's a lot of ways this would have impacted his storyline in those episodes. So your point about those horrible, horrible girls that he had been with in those other episodes, even at 6 months, he would have had drastically different impacts. So, I like that change.
Yeah. Well, even if you think about Desiree, who we both are on record saying that she's a fun character, but, he probably wouldn't have been as desperate to be with her. I mean, even if the two of them had broken up and then he started dating Desiree, that could have been funny. Keep Desiree no matter what you do. But it's just, why didn't you keep her around? She was wonderful. Let Eric just be. Let him be happy.
Yes. Now, if Linda stays around, we don't get this gem.
You scum! You scum!
Because in the B team of life, where Eric is he's kind of working out and trying to do some bicep curls, and he's trying to get himself pumped up because
Oh, you're scum. You're scum.
yeah.
It wasn't coming across. That's why I was confused.
Yeah, he's basically trying to get himself pumped up to really impress the ladies. But if he's got Linda, we don't get him trying to teach Corey about how he's he's buffing himself up for the ladies.
Mm-hmm. How dare we give confidence to a character that's supposed to be confident?
But there's a lot that he avoids with that. And so I do like keeping Linda around. We're both very vocal that we loved Linda. We wish we would have seen more of Linda being around.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's also nice to see Eric being an actual character and not just the joke creator. I mean, I love him as the joke creator, but, Eric does have sensitivities, and it feels like they give him these little moments, but never full ranged of a true, arc to be able to show him growing, maturing, and potentially being a good boyfriend.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yes.
Do you have a small change, big impact for us?
I do have a small change in season 2, actually, one that I kind of harped on when we were there in season 2 from Wake Up Little Corey. And it's a small change at the end of the episode. Corey at the end of the episode, after he's let the school think that he and Topanga slept together when they spent the night at school. His way out of it, after Topanga has called him to task, after his parents have let him stew in his filth he's created, his way out is to basically half apologize with the end of their video assignment. And I shared in the episode that I felt that was kind of a half apology. It was about as non-committal an apology as you could get. And I felt like there needed to be more. That he needed to really he needed to do more to really stand up for Topanga. And so my little change that would bring a bigger impact with that is that I would like to see Corey have to stand up in the hall. And I brought it very briefly that I don't I'm going to leave that in because we saw Harley come in. We saw Harley come in because he's in the movie. And Harley is one of the first ones in the episode that asks Corey, "Are you the man?" And Corey kind of goes along with it. And so we're going to leave this half apology in. Well, after class is over, Mr. Feeney, Mr. Turner are going to stay and they're going to talk. And, Mr. Turner's going to get a talking to about how they, next time you're not going to get so lucky. But after class, Harley's going to get a little bit, gonna get a little bit rough with Corey out in the hallway, and there's going to be a crowd around, and it's going to be a very public moment for Corey, where Harley is going to be very upset that Corey makes him look bad, because Harley was very, very complimentary to Baboon about his exploits with Topanga, and he wants Corey to be honest with him. And Corey is going to be honest with him. And Corey is going to stand up for Topanga, and he's going to defend her, and he's going to let Harley know. And whether it's on screen or not, Corey's going to have some very real ramifications for the lie that he allowed to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Whether this is Harley pounding him, whether this is everyone in school whether it's them just seeing him have to be the worm on the hook. But Corey is going to leave school that day with everyone in school knowing that he was just letting this lie circulate for his own benefit. And Corey's going to become the pariah of the school, not Topanga. And Corey's going to have a lot of work to do to rebuild what little reputation he had before all of this came about. So we get Corey with this little change where everything happens as it did, but we just extend this story for 5 extra minutes, and we see Corey take that one last step we need to see him take, to where he actually owns up to everything in the full view of everyone who saw everything already happen with the lie and the rumor. And so I think that's one small change that gives us a much bigger impact for the story, for the characters, and we see a little bit of a much bigger impact for Topanga, for her story, that we see people, because that room, as crowded as it was, that can't have had more than 5% of the school body who heard everything. This is 7th through 12th grade. And we know how fast rumors spread. Everyone in school knew about it. And, her good name, she can't have back. She was dragged through the mud.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you that having a few extra minutes for Corey to actually have to make up for what he did not correct initially. On that same token, I think the moment that he says nothing happened, you're going to have people that just go, nope, done. He's not who he is, and it's much easier to ruin your reputation than to make your reputation, that's for sure. So for Corey, he's basically gonna go around pretty quickly if he's a weenie, and he's not the man. But it doesn't change Topanga's situation, because there's always going to be people that assume that it still happened.
Which is true.
And that's part of the problem. So I agree with you in their relationship sense. It would have made more sense for him to actually have to say it more in front of the student body. Many a times when Corey has to come out and admit to wrongdoing in front of a bunch of other students and seen as the whole 7th grade or 9th grade or whatever class time period they're in, So, at the end of the day, I don't disagree with your change.
Yeah, and it doesn't have the far-reaching impact as, say, Linda sticking around.
Right. That's all right.
No. But does it have, do we get girls as interested in him as they are in Band on the Run, where they see him with guitar cases? Are they as willing to flock to him if they know he's willing to use them to further his own reputation?
Those girls, I'd say yes.
Very possibly, very likely. They were willing to flock to him even not knowing who he was.
Right.
But, yeah, little change, big impact.
For their relationship, I do think that would be a big impact, yes. I do agree with you. So, problem is it's the 90s. So...
Oh, totally.
The small little apology was enough.
Yes, and it fits well within Michael Jacobs' universe he created for the show. So,
Yeah. So I do have one more for you, Brett.
All right.
So I made an offhand comment a few weeks ago while we were doing Sister Teresa's episode. And I've thought about this more and more, and the more I think about it, the more I like it.
Mm-hmm.
And that is, instead of Lauren being this brand new character out of left field, Lauren is actually TK.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I can embrace and accept the idea that her middle name is Lauren, and so that's what she decides to go by. She, went to an all-girls school, and she decided to start going by her middle name to change, the perception of her, blah, blah, blah. Tries to drop some of this tough girl attitude, and potentially even gets a couple of good influences. And one of the reasons that she works at the lodge is because it's nearby her school, and she gets permission to go there and work and yada yada. And because there's nothing about Lauren's backstory that can't fit for Teresa Kiner. Like, Lauren used to be a city girl. Then she moved to this area, and she's works at the lodge, and she gets to see the stars all the time, and is beautiful. My ultimate problem with Lauren, and it's not the acting, it's not the actor, it's not even Corey's response to everything, and Topanga's response, and especially Sean's response. Sean is at 11, and I love it, but it's how quickly they make it seem like she is fallen head over heels for Corey. And I said I love you to my wife within a week of dating. I avoided dating her for a while because I knew if we started dating, we'd get married. All those things. And I'm not even saying that a teenage girl can't develop these very strong feelings out of nowhere, but it felt more like it's because she's sharing these things that are personal to her, that's the reason that she's liking Corey as much, and Corey's a good listener, that's why she develops these feelings, Again, Lauren itself is amazing. I think giving a little bit more depth to the character in that it is someone from Corey's past, someone that he did have unresolved feelings for, and could even be a part of the storyline of they were still dating, and then she got kicked out of school, or was forced to go to an all-girls school, similar to what happened with Harley Kiner, but just giving that little bit more depth, and also of Corey catching up with and seeing this more lighthearted side of TK and not being as obsessed and everything like that. But also of the next day revealing that she has all these intense emotions and love for him potentially could be really good in the realm of understanding this really intense letter that Corey gets, and of Topanga potentially reading it and actually feeling threatened of, especially if TK were to write something about how, when I saw you, I felt like me again, I felt alive, and all those type of things that you can write about someone that you've known before. And TK is one who moves very quickly. TK is someone that when she likes someone, and she's going to pursue them. It's one of the reasons that Corey and her start dating is because she decides that she likes him, she thinks he's cute, and, tries to go in that direction. And, having Corey have that chemistry again with her, this character, would be quite amazing. And giving more depth of Corey actually doing something that's wrong. Because, it was wrong that Corey goes and he is with that girl as long as he is with having a girlfriend in general. It's definitely inappropriate. But having it be someone that he could say, well, it's just this old friend of mine. It's this old friend of mine. I don't have feelings for her. But then to be hit with, well, she's always had these feelings. She still has these feelings. And if you decide that you don't have those feelings for me, just tell me. But, you're back in my life, and this is my only shot to tell you I still love you. That, I think, could have been really interesting. And when Lauren then does go back to Philly, as she does, it could resonate more of when Sean sees her and when Alan and Amy re-see her, of seeing this completely different version of her that is more kind and compassionate and isn't as hardened. And again, I watched it today. I love everything that they do with the character. I think she's fantastic. And at one point you and I had talked about, before we started doing the episodes, of what could it have looked like for Corey to actually date Lauren, and that would have been really interesting because the two of them do have good chemistry, and they would be an interesting couple. And everybody seems to like her. The problem is that she's just not Topanga.
Yep.
And so I don't know. It just fits right for this situation. And I get the understanding that there's plenty of different people out there, and we don't want canon and all that jazz. But for a moment, if we want a little canon and to have a character come back, I think this would have been the time to do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I like that idea. I like being able to tie back in, because we both like. Yeah, we were both vocal that we love TK, and would have loved to see her more. Mm-hmm. So I like the change, and I
couldn't even have the same actress.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. The only thing I'm truly changing
is the name.
Is the fact she's not just a random person, that it's someone from his past. That's it. I could have substituted anybody. It's just because we just got done watching the episode. We love TK, and it would have been great for her to come back.
Yep. Oh, totally. Yeah.
So now, would Corey still choose Topanga? Absolutely. Yeah. But does Corey need that test? Yes, he does. Does Topanga need that test? Yes, she does.
Mm-hmm.
So don't give me that crap, Topanga. You don't need that test.
Yeah.
All right. Do you have another small change, big impact?
I do have one more. Yeah.
All right.
I'm going to go back to episode 2 of season 2, Pairing Off. At the very end, where, Corey has been, Corey and Wendy Jansen.
Yes.
At the very end of the episode, we get Corey and Wendy deciding that they're going to call off their date, but they still want to get to know each other.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing comes about from that at the end of episode 2. Now, in the established show, 13 episodes later, Corey and Wendy do get together in this really intense, all of a sudden they're in this really intense relationship, and she's like setting the whole life up, and they want you to take the roles.
70th anniversary is the potato anniversary.
But my little change is they actually do get to know each other, and they actually do start dating after episode 2.
Mm-hmm.
And we get to see them build a relationship. And whether that builds up to what we get in episode 15, I very much doubt it. But we see Corey actually develop a real relationship with a real authentic friendship first. And so he has this girlfriend through Notorious, through Me and Mr. Jode. We'll give him a few months together with her. Or at least we'll give him 2 months with her, because it is 7th grade. We'll give him 2 months. Mm-hmm. So, we'll give him Notorious, Me and Mr. Jode, The Uninvited. We'll give him up through Wake Up Little Corey.
Okay.
That's 5 episodes out. And so the changes that'll bring to Corey and his realm on the show. Notorious, he's not so much worried about being a big deal. He has this relationship that's budding and growing. He's still going to stand up for Sean, but he and Sean might not be in the room. I mean, well, okay, they're still in the room because Eric's a ride home.
Yep.
But he might not be as attentive to Sean in what's going on. So he might not have the opportunity to stand up for Sean. So that might change what goes on with Sean. Sean might be in a little more trouble. Me and Mr. Jode, I'm not sure if he's going to have another voice with him in the strike or if he's going to have a voice that's going to talk him out of it and the strike doesn't happen. I'm going to say he has another voice with him.
Yeah, I mean, that's the problem is that whatever girl he ends up dating ends up being in this English class with him magically.
Yeah,
So,
magically.
If we're going in the line of she will be in the class with them because that's the way it goes, because they establish her being in that class in the first in that second episode. So let's say she's in that class.
She's
with
already
them.
there.
I think there's a strong chance that she probably would just take his side because you follow after your man.
Yes,
Even if you
exactly.
disagree.
So they
So
might
it-
actually have a few more voices that legitimately strike. So we might have a little
Now,
more conflict.
I will say also, though, I think she'd follow him potentially until he goes outside of school, potentially. Potentially.
Depends on how good of a student she is, what her GPA is. I'm not sure.
Right. That's true. But, yeah. I mean, either way, she could do either one, and both of them would make sense for her character of either following her man because that's what she's supposed to do, or saying, I support you, but I can't.
Yeah. The uninvited, Corey's not going to a party. Not without her. So I don't think he even goes to the party because he doesn't need to.
Well, but think about this. A lot of girls were invited, and a lot of the regular guys didn't show up because there were no cute girls. So potentially, if those two show up, maybe a couple other couples also show up.
Becomes a
So instead
couples
of
party
being
with a few
A
nerds.
geek party, it could be a regular party.
Very. Maybe we get 7 minutes in heaven early.
Ooh, maybe.
There you go. Who's afraid
I
of
mean-
Corey?
Listen, I'm pretty sure what's-her-face still ditches no matter what, but...
Oh, I'm sure it's not the really dangerous guys there. Who's afraid of Corey Wolf? We still get the puberty thing, but you know, by this point, he's probably not afraid to kiss her. But that might be a little more intense for him, as far as the one who cares for him being afraid to kill her. He might be a little bit more worried.
Well, I will also say that if Topanga is also in this episode, which normally they didn't do this, but it would be interesting if they were supposed to go to the party as friends and also Wendy was supposed to show up, if he kisses her. It does taint their relationship because, you know, cheating, but all in all, it could be more of an interesting episode.
Yep. And I give them until Wake Up Little Corey, because I'm still going to have Corey and Topanga paired up for the assignment, because Mr. Turner's not going to let a dating couple have this assignment together. Love, sex, and
and that-
dating with a dating couple having the assignment. They're not going to be allowed to do the assignment together.
But that would be really, really interesting to see how Corey would handle it if he was with somebody else.
Yeah, because even at 7th grade, as they've been together all these weeks, that's going to be too much for Wendy, I think. For him and Topanga to have been together all night long. I think this is the end for their relationship. I think that's it for them. And then I don't think that Wendy's going to be the girl in episode 15 that he gets together with for whatever that happens in episode 15 then. So I think Corey and Wendy get together at the end of episode 2. They're together for episode up until Wake Up Little Corey, and that's my little change, my simple change, big impact.
I mean, even if they just date through the uninvited, like this whole party thing ends up affecting their relationship and they end up breaking up through that. I mean, to be honest, though, if the two of them were to start to get to know each other, there's a chance that we may just have episode 15 around episode 4 instead, or 5.
Very true.
And everything just gets kind of pushed around a little bit.
Yeah, and they could be that intense then just, a month later and we move that episode up by, a dozen weeks.
Well,
Then we still get,
you
they
have the,
want you to take the roles.
If
I
the
don't want to
Uninvited
lose
was
that.
later on, and you had episode 15 there instead, the next episode could be him dealing with the breakup, coming into his puberty, and running into Topanga.
Very true.
So, either way, I'm pretty sure Wendy's crazy, and Corey was always going to find her crazy. And, Alan was always destined to pull his son outside with a fork in his hand saying, what was it, nut job? Psycho? No, psycho.
Psycho? Psycho. Agreed. Yes.
If anyone would be concerned, I think it would be me. Or sounding the alarms, it would be me.
Mm-hmm.
Wee you, wee you, wee you.
Yes.
That is a classic episode. Honestly,
Yeah.
when we make our top 50 episodes,
Yeah. Yeah.
well, those have been some small changes, big impacts. I don't know, but maybe
Hashtag.
potentially, if Linda was still sticking around, she could have been helpful to Corey in understanding girls and why they do certain things. And another thing, if Linda's still girlfriend, Topanga hitting on Eric becomes a much different episode.
Yes. Very much so.
Because then Eric doesn't act like a tool in front of Topanga's sister in front of Topanga about her sister. But Linda still could be like, stay away from my man.
Oh, yeah.
So, who knows?
Little
Interesting
girl,
things could have happened.
go away. Yeah.
But-
she probably would have been a little more classy than that.
Yeah, because Linda was a classy girl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think that's good
Well-
for this one.
This has been your episode, your bonus episode, extra credit. Let's just give everybody an A+. Good job, everyone.
Good job. 100%.
Give us your small changes, big impact, and we'll read them on air.
Yeah, we want to hear them. Leave them below. Leave them in the credits on YouTube, or the comments on YouTube. Send them to us on an email at dadsmeetworld@gmail.com, or leave them in the comments on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram at dadsmeetworld. We want to hear them, and we'll share them.
Yeah. So send them our way. We'll read them.
That's right.
And also,
We love
any
'em.
other feedback, any other comments, any other ratings, we'll read those suckers too, man.
That's right.
So, well, as always, Brett, we'll see you good looking.
I'll see you good looking. You can find Dads Meet World on Facebook, Twitter, and probably a few other places just by searching for Dads Meet World. Dads Meet World is a production of Headfirst Studios. Headfirst Studios. Tell your story.
I think half of mine could get cut out very easily.
Well, I was actually considering, since it's an extra credit, I was considering just doing minimal editing and releasing this one as a video. So,
Oh, that could be fun.
yeah.
Gonna have footage of me eating my Pop-Tart. Oh, let them watch me chew.